Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video, and today we're going to do another beginner's guide. My previous beginner's guide on the Dragon Maid deck actually did pretty well, and I think players really appreciated that. So I'm going to try to do more of these, and today we're going to do a beginner's guide to the Madolche deck. So if you're unfamiliar with how the beginner's guide works, this is going to be different than top tier deck list, best meta deck, whatever, combo deck, whatever. It's not any of that. What this is I like to showcase like a certain archetype in the game and literally build a fairly pure version of the deck and just explain how that archetype is meant to work and operate to help you learn how to use that archetype. And then from there, you can build on and make the deck more relevant. And I'll give you some tips on how to do that as well. So the build I'm going to show you in this video is meant more for like tutorial purposes. And there are definitely ways you can improve it, and I'll talk about that. But I want to kind of explain the baseline Madolche deck, how it works, and which are the best monsters from the archetype you should be using, right? So let's just start and talk about like the anatomy of what a Madolche monster is and what it does, because there are some things that most of them will have in common. So we'll start with Madolche Hootcake. Now, something that all of the main deck monsters will have is that if they are destroyed and sent to the graveyard, their effect will shuffle them back into the deck instead. And then there are a lot of shenanigans that happen from shuffling them back into the deck. Some of them have effects where like you don't want monsters in their graveyard, so this effect inherently helps keep your graveyard empty. And then there are spell cards that really play off of Madolches getting shuffled into your deck. And a lot of cards will say when a Madolche gets shuffled into the deck by your own effect, which it's going to happen because it's their effect that makes them do it, right? So let's talk about Hootcake individually as a monster. Hootcake is usually a 3 of in the deck if you're playing a fairly pure build. Some people might play it at 2. But basically what Hootcake does is Hootcake can banish any monster from your graveyard. Does not have to be Madolche, just anything. And then can special summon any Madolche from the deck. So very, very good. And by the way, Madolche is an Xyz type of deck, so they like to do a lot of Xyz summoning. So Hootcake is really good at helping you get more monsters out to do Xyz summons with. And he does combo very, very well with another monster in the deck we'll talk about. Okay. Then we'll look at Madolche Mageline. This is a very good 3 of in the deck. This is your searcher. You just normal summon it, search out a level 4 or lower Madolche, and add it to your hand. Or no, any Madolche, so it doesn't have to be a level 4 or lower, but it pretty much usually will be a level 4 or lower you're going to add. But yeah, just summon it, add a Madolche to your hand, and you're good. Madolche Messengelato. Now, this guy is very important. I've seen people run this at 1, I've seen people run it at 2, and I've seen it run at 3. In my normal Madolche, like my more competitive Madolche, I do have him at 2. But I've seen him useful at 3. Like, I've gone through all 3 and used it, right? So what Messengelato does is if he is special summoned and you control a beast monster, then you get to add any Madolche spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is incredibly good, right? Now, the Madolche archetype has a few beasts in it, but the only relevant beast is Hootcake. That's the one you want to run. So a really easy combo you can do is if you have Hootcake out and you have a monster in your graveyard, you use Hootcake to banish the monster, special summon Messengelato, and then that's going to get you into a Madolche spell or trap quite easily, right? So just so that you know, when you're doing, this deck has a combo that builds up, and you can do like an 8k OTK combo with basically one card. And there's like, I think 6 to 9 different cards you can lead with to get that combo. It's actually pretty easy to get out, and I'm going to demo that for you. But you want to make sure in the combo, you get Hootcake as early as possible in a position where it makes sense. So then you start special summoning out Messengelato and you get search. Usually when I do my combo, I'll get 1 to 2 Messengelato searches off by the time my combo is done. Okay. Then we have Angeli. Angeli is usually a 3 of. Angeli is really good. You just tribute itself to special summon any Madolche from the deck. So once again, she's important because putting a body in the graveyard is very good in this deck. Because a lot of them, they inherently shuffle back in, so the graveyard's empty. But there are cards like Hootcake where like you want a monster in the graveyard to shuffle back in. So she's great because she puts a body in the graveyard for Hootcake, and then Hootcake can shuffle it back in. So a pretty common play is you'll start with Angeli, go into Hootcake, and then she will be in the graveyard for Hootcake to banish, and then you got another body. So it's all about like extension and getting more and more monsters out, right? Then we have Madolche Petting Cessor, this is 100 million% a 3 of in the deck. This is, to me, the best 4-star monster in the deck. So what she does is if you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon her. And then if she is special summoned in any way, you can special summon any Madolche from your deck, and you lower its level by 1. Now, this is incredibly significant because she combos with the 1 5-star you're going to run, which is Madolche Puddingcess. Madolche Puddingcess normally isn't that great, and like before Petting Cessor came out, you wouldn't even run her because she's a 5-star. She doesn't inherently special summon, so she literally, you have to tribute her to get her out. Just a really bricky card, right? So you still only run her at 1 because she's kind of bricky in the hand, but Petting Cessor just shoots her out from the deck, lowers her level by 1, and makes her level 4. And she's really significant because she combos with one of your Xyz monsters while she's a material. You get a really good effect. Now, Puddingcess, if you actually have her on the field and you're like attacking with her, basically she has 1,000 attack, but if you have no monsters in her graveyard, she goes up to 1,800. And then at the end of a battle that she's involved in, she can destroy a monster on the field. Or no, actually any card. So she can just pop any card on the field. And even if she gets destroyed from the battle, you get that off. So she is good for a little bit of spot removal. But most of the, like 90% of the time, you're never actually going to have Puddingcess out to attack with. She's on the field for like 2 seconds and she's like Xyz material. So the main combo you would do is you get Petting Cessor out in some way. Usually you try to open with her or like search into her pretty early on. Oh, what happened to my screen here? Hold up. My screen, there we go. You just want to like search into her, open up with her, whatever, special her out. Then she special summons the princess and then our Puddingcess, and then they just do a rank 4 Xyz play, and then I'll kind of show you how that goes once I get into those Xyz monsters. But that's pretty much the main Madolche monsters there. Now, some other cards that are non-Madolche, obviously there's staples like Ash Blossom you can run. You have to be very careful with Ash though, because if you're going second and you have Petting Cessor in your hand, if you Ash something, you're putting a monster in the graveyard, and now you've taken away your ability to special summon Petting Cessor. But if you open with Hoot Cake, then Ash is actually really good because you can Ash something and then summon Hoot Cake and banish the Ash out. So Ash, you just have to be very aware of when you're using it if you're going to run Ash in the deck, right? I do want to talk about Vernisylph really quick. I think a lot of modern Madolche decks actually run a lot of Vernisylph monsters. So in my actual more competitive version, I do run a fair amount of these. I did just for this tutorial video, I put in 3 of this Mystic Seedlings one because this is to me like the best one for Madolches because it just lets you search out an Earth Fairy, which some of your best Madolches are. So that's why that is in here. I won't go too deep into Vernisylph because once again, as a beginner video, I want to mainly focus on Madolche, right? And then just some other like good one-ofs or multiples you can run in the deck. Kashtira Fenrir is limited to 1 on Master Duel, so it's a very good just generic Earth monster you can run. I think in real life it's still at 3, so I think you can run 3 in a real deck, but on Master Duel, I think running it as a one-of is nice. I think Pankratops is a really nice one-of too, being that it's an Earth deck anyways, and fits in really well with what the deck does. But that's pretty much it for when I'm running for this tutorial deck for my monsters. And I've talked about once again. So there are other Madolches that can go in the main deck that I haven't talked about. But for competitive purposes, most of them you wouldn't really run. These are the ones you really care about, okay? I will talk about Small World really quick. This isn't a Madolche card, but it's one of the best cards for Madolche to make it consistent. It is kind of a complicated card, so if it breaks your brain, you don't have to run it. But it does work really well in Madolche, so I do just need to say that. I'll try to summarize it for you, but basically you reveal a monster from your hand. You choose a monster in your deck that shares exactly one thing in common with it. So it's got to be attack, defense, type, attribute, attack, and defense. Like anything that's printed, and level as well. Anything that's printed on the card, it can only share like one thing in common. And then you use that one that you revealed, and then you choose another one from your deck that shares one thing in common, and then you actually get to like add that to your hand, and then you banish the one out that you revealed. So I know it sounds kind of complicated, but essentially what it does is it allows you to search out a Madolche that you need in your deck, right? So we'll try to use it in the tutorial. We'll see. It is a little bit easier to use on Master Duel because it shows you like the proper options. In real life, you have to really understand it to know like what your options are. But the more you use it, you'll get used to it. Madolche Chateau. So this is the field card. I would say normally I run this at 1, but for the tutorial version, I'm going to run it at 2 just to make sure I can get it. The field card is actually very vital to the deck. It does give you all of your Madolches a 500 attack and defense buff, which is, it's nice, but not like necessary. The main thing it does that's interesting is that when you play it, it shuffles all of your Madolches from the graveyard into the deck, which is good because when you play it, you typically are going to have a certain monster on the field I'm going to talk about that really plays off of when that happens. And then the other thing that it does is anytime a Madolche is shuffled into the deck from a Madolche effect, which they all have that inherently, you can add it to your hand, which is really crazy. So like it basically allows you to get huge hand advantage because anytime your Madolche would be like destroyed, shuffled into the deck from their own effect, you're actually just adding them back to their hand. You have Madolche effects as well that you'll shuffle stuff from the graveyard into the deck, and then you can then just add it right back to your hand. It's really nutty when you get this card going, so it's very good. You do want to make sure you have it, but it's very searchable, so at 1 it is fine. Then we have Madolche Ticket. This is a continuous that says anytime a Madolche, or once per turn, if a Madolche is shuffled into the deck, which they shuffle themselves in, right? We talked about that already. You can add a Madolche card to your hand, a monster. But then if you control a fairy Madolche monster, you can actually special summon it. So basically once per turn, you shuffle something in, and then you can potentially special summon something directly from the deck if you have a fairy on the field. Otherwise, you add it to your hand. So it's also very good. Right here for the tutorial, I have it at 2, but you probably would only want to run 1 because it is bricky in the hand and it's very searchable. And then Madolche Salon. This one in real life is actually getting kind of expensive because I haven't reprinted it. Also a very good card. Continuous spell. Allows you to have 1 additional normal summon per turn of a Madolche monster, which is very good because the deck does have a lot of monsters that you need to normal summon. So giving you double normal summons can really help you just get into or push through into an Xyz play if you need to. And then anytime once per turn a Madolche is shuffled into the deck, you can take a Madolche spell or trap and set it directly to your field. So this is going to allow you to set your really good trap card. So yeah, Madolche Salon, very, very good. And then the other Madolche spell and trap we're going to play, I love running this at 3, is Madolche Promenade. This is a great trap because it can negate any card on the field, spell, trap, monster, whatever. You negate it, and then you target a Madolche on your field or in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is very, very good, right? It like bounces 1 back to your hand. So this is very good, and this could say, like, let's say they try to Harpy Feather Duster you or Raigeki you or something like that. You can play this and just negate it, and then you shuffle a Madolche back to your hand. It's very, very good. So I like running that 3 because it's literally like an Omni Negate. It'll negate pretty much anything. So very, very good. And then obviously there's other just generic staples, like Imperm's a nice staple you can run. Goes in Match works really good in the deck because you're all Earth type. But Goes in Match, I would say in real life is more of a side deck card because there's a lot of decks now that run similar attributes. But if you know that they're playing a bunch of different attributes, Goes in Match is a great side deck card. But on Master Duel, I like the main deck. It is fun. If it goes off good, it does really well, right? All right, so let's talk about the extra deck, right, and what the extra deck monsters are. Oh, the other thing I should mention is most of the Madolches are 4-star. The only exception is the Hoot Cake is a 3-star. And the Pudding Cess is a 5-star, but she's going to be a 4-star because of the way you summon her. So really, every Madolche in the main deck that you're running, they're going to do a rank 4 Xyz play. The only exception is Hoot Cake. If you happen to get 2 of them out, you can go into a rank 3 play. But usually what I do with Hoot Cake is you end up linking it off, which I'll show you what you'll link it into here. So let's look at the Xyz. So all of these Xyz are going to be pretty much rank 4. There is a rank 5, but you can basically get it for free. You don't have to actually do it with rank 5s, right? So first we have Madolche Queen Tiramisu. I actually think this is the best Xyz in the deck because what it does is you can detach a material from it and then target up to 2 Madolches in your graveyard. Or I don't even think you target because it's non-targeting. So you shuffle 2 Madolches from your deck into your, or from your graveyard into your deck, and then you select up to 2 of your opponent's cards to shuffle into their deck. and it's non-targeting, which makes it very good. So it's non-destruction, non-targeting, which is good because a lot of monsters either can't be destroyed, or they get really good effects when they're destroyed, or they get really good effects when they're sent to the graveyard. This kind of gets around all of that, and this is a really good card to get around very difficult to get rid of things. And the fact that you can bounce 2 things every turn is really crazy with this. So this is your main, like, clear the opponent's board card, and then you attack and do a lot of damage with her. So she's very good. Then we have Glass Souffle. She's another rank 4. This is usually like you use this in the opening or like to start your combo, because she helps kind of get your graveyard going and get things kind of set up for later monsters. And once again, I'm going to demo the main combo for you guys. She has a quick effect where she can detach material, target a Madolche card you control, and make it unaffected by your opponent's monster effects for the turn. Honestly, that doesn't come into play too much. It's mostly significant because, like, right when you summon her, you can just detach one to put something in the graveyard, and you're going to need that to extend out your first combo. There have been times where, you know, turn 1, if you're going turn 1, you usually leave one of these on board, because that way if your opponent happens to summon a monster and try to target one of your Madolches and do something to it, you can quick effect this and get protection. So it does have a little bit of protection, but mostly it's for kind of jump starting your combo, right? Oh, and then the other thing she does that actually can be significant is if a Madolche card is sent to your graveyard, you can shuffle up to 2 cards from either graveyard into the deck, which can be very good, because it can disrupt your opponent's graveyard. Or you can use it on your own to shuffle your own, and then let's say you have Madolche Chateau, you shuffle your own back in, you can add them to your hand, right? Then the last Xyz monster we have is Pudding Cess Chocolate a la mode. Now, it is a rank 5, and you can summon it traditionally with 2 level 5 Earth monsters. So when this card first dropped, they wanted you to summon it with 2 Pudding Cess, but it was ridiculous because she's a normal summon monster, didn't have an inherent special summon. It was very hard to do. But now what they did with Pudding Cessors, they really streamlined it. And she has a way to summon herself off of a rank 4. So you can Xyz this just on top of a rank 4 or lower Madolche XYZ monster. Okay, so you bring out either of those rank 4s I talked about, you can just slap this on top for free. Okay, and then the other thing that this gets is once per turn, you can target a Madolche card in your graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. So she can always do that. But what's really significant is the second part of her effect, but she only gets it if Pudding Cess is a material. So when she has Pudding Cess as a material, if a card is shuffled from your graveyard into the deck, you can detach a material and special summon a Madolche from your deck. So it helps you really extend out your plays. So what you do with her is the turn she comes out, so I'll explain it, but I'm going to demo it later. So the general idea is you start with Pudding Cess, you special her. Use her effect to get out Pudding Cess. Pudding Cess is going to be a level 4 because her level is lowered by 1 when summoned with Pudding Cess. You overlay those, and then you go into the rank 4 here, which is this one. And then she's going to detach with her quick effect just to put one in the graveyard. Then you lay Chocolate a la mode on top of that. And then since you have one in the graveyard from when she detached, she uses her effect to shuffle it into the deck. And then because Pudding Cess is a material on her, because she's going to be underneath all that stuff, then you can detach one from her and then special from the deck. And then that just keeps your combo going. I know it might sound complicated just hearing it. I will demo it. Then the other Madolche extra deck monster is Sistart. Sistart is actually quite good and integral to helping your opening field look very good. So you can summon her with just any 2 Madolche monsters, very easy to get. As long as she's pointing to a Madolche monster, all of your Madolche spell and traps are protected, like they can't be targeted or destroyed, which is very good. And then if she is destroyed in any way, you can shuffle Madolche card from your graveyard into your deck instead, and she is not destroyed. So she gives herself inherent protection, and then she protects your Madolche spell and traps. She's just a really nice monster to end off on, and this is what I use my hoot cakes. I'll do hoot cake with whatever to get this on board, and then she just gives me all kinds of protection. Because what's going to happen is when you're going first, as you saw before, there's like 2 continuous spells you're going to be playing and a field card. Ideally, you want all of those out, and you don't want to just give it to your opponent to get Feather Duster. Well, she's going to protect it from Feather Duster, so that's really, really nice, right? So that's the gist of the deck and the monsters. So let's go ahead and let's just hop into some quick fights. And I'll just do solo mode, because that way I don't have to worry about, you know, because I want to pause and I want to talk and I don't want to be disrespectful to my opponent online who is trying to actually play and probably wants to get the fight done, you know. So we'll just go into solo mode and just hop into some fights just to show you what the deck can do, right? So we'll just pick anything. Sure, let's just do this. Gears of Justice. Sure, we'll just go into this. Once again, I don't really care about the opponent's difficulty. I just want to be able to show you what the deck does. So let me go to my deck and we're going to go to Madolche. And we'll do the Madolche tutorial, which is right here. Perfect. All right, we're going to hop in with this. So I'm hoping I can just show you a couple of the setups for the combo. And I'll, actually, I'm going to go first just so I can hopefully go right away and just show you the combo. This deck, when you do the combo properly, so like if you have just Pettingcessor or a way to get into Pettingcessor turn 1, you can put up a field that does exactly 8k damage. So it's pretty easy here. So opening hand, I don't have Pettingcessor, but if you open with Angeli or Madeline, you can get in the Pettingcessor and still do it. So that's 9 different cards you can get that turn your combo on and you can go full combo. So we'll demo it with Angeli. So we're going to normal summon Angeli. We're going to activate her effect. She tributes, and now I can special any Madolche from the deck. So I'm going to go into Pettingcessor. Okay, now when Pettingcessor is special summoned, remember, she can special summon any Madolche from the deck and its level is lowered by 1. With Pettingcessor, you always go into Puddingcess because she's a 5-star. Okay, and now she's a level 4. So now I go into my rank 4 play. Okay, and you're going to start with Glass Souffle. And the reason why you got to start with Glass Souffle is right now I have no monsters in the graveyard, right? We'll just bring her out in defense position. We'll put her here. You want to leave your extra deck zone open because you're going to put a link there. Okay, and then what I do is I activate her quick effect and I just detach a material to do that. You want to make sure though, do not detach Puddingcess. She needs to stay as a material. Otherwise your chocolate a la mode isn't going to work. So we're going to detach Pettingcessor. And then I'm just going to target her to make her unaffected by my opponent's monster effects. Doesn't matter. I could activate her effect to shuffle into the deck. We don't want to do that. And then we're just going to lay chocolate a la mode right on top. Like this. Okay. And we'll just put her right there. Okay. Now this is significant. And the reason why we need a Glass Souffle first is you can see I needed monsters in my graveyard, which I do. Well, and I already had Angeli. So normally, if you open with just Pettingcessor, you wouldn't have that Angeli in there. So I'm fine that we detached anyways. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate effect. And then what I do is I just pick one of these to shuffle into the deck. So sure, let's put Angeli back into the deck. And now because she has Puddingcess as material, I can activate her effect to detach. And this is not limited to once per turn. So we are going to detach this, the Xyz monster. You got to leave Puddingcess on there until the end. And I special summon anything I want from my deck. Now I've already done Angeli. Normally I would go into Angeli here, but I've already used her effect. So after Angeli, I like to go Hoot Cake. So let's do Hoot Cake and put Hoot Cake here. And now I can use Hoot Cake's effect to shuffle one in. So we are going to, or what Hoot Cake does is banishes, sorry, Hoot Cake banishes one to special. So we'll banish the Xyz to special. Now we go into Messengelato, and when he is special, then I control a beast, which is Hoot Cake. I can now get a Madolche spell or trap. Now on your first search, if you don't have it, you want the field card. So I'm going to get Madolche Chateau. Okay, perfect. Now the reason I want Chateau is because I have a monster in the graveyard. Chateau is going to shuffle it, which will trigger chocolate a la mode. So we're going to activate this. It is going to automatically shuffle that in. Chocolate a la mode can activate. It's not once per turn. I'm going to detach Puddingcess, so now she can't do it anymore. And I'm going to special summon another Messengelato, because that is also not once per turn. Now I can activate that to search out another spell or trap. So now from here, you kind of have options. Usually I go Salon, because it's going to give me another normal summon, and that can get me into more spell and traps. You could go Ticket, but I think Salon's usually the best play next. So we're going to activate Salon and throw that out there. Now my field is getting kind of full, right? So I'm almost going to have to start going into stuff just to make more room. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do another Xyz play. And I could go into a rank 4. Now since I'm going first, I'm going to go into another Glass Souffle. But if I was on the offensive, I would go into Tiramisu, bounce a couple of things and try to swing for game. But we'll do this because since I'm going first, I'm going to do these two here. And I'm going to try to put it in a zone where I know an Xyz can point to it. Okay, so we're going to drop that down. Okay. And now that is just going to sit there for next turn. Okay. Now I have an additional normal summon here, right? So I could bring out Gelato or Hoot Cake. So let me just go ahead and let's do Gelato. Okay. And then what we can do is now we could link off, and we can link off into this, and we'll just link these two here. Okay. So what would happen here is, let's say I was on the offensive. This is the standard like 8K board that we have right here. Activate Glass Souffle to shuffle. Actually, I probably could here. Yeah, I think I will. So here's what we can do. Glass Souffle, this is an instance. A Madolche was sent to the graveyard, so I could shuffle. So actually, Pudding Cess is really good to put back into the deck, because then Petting Cessor can go off again. So sure, let's go ahead and put those two back into the deck. And then Chateau, Chateau could put him into the hand. So I'm going to say no. Let Pudding Cess go back in, but then this one I could take back to the hand if I want to, right? Okay, and then since I shuffled, Shalana is going to go off. So now I could get either Ticket or I could get Promenade. Since I know I'm not going to be getting any more searches here, I'm going to go Promenade. And then Promenade is going to give me a negate on my opponent during their turn. So right now I'm set up nice. But what you would normally end on here is, you can see I've got 3K here, I've got 2K here. This normally would be Tiramisu. I would detach bounce two things, and I could lay a chocolate Alamode on top of it. So I would have 2 chocolate Alamodes and the Link Monster, so that's 8K direct. And so if you can get the right situation, that's your OTK right there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's set the Promenade. Oh, I already had a Promenade in my hand. So yeah, then I probably should have done the other one, but that's okay. So let's end turn. We'll just do we'll do this, and we'll do one more match just so you can see maybe hopefully a different type of starting setup. But we'll do it again. So here's a Raigeki, right? So they're going to wipe my field, and this is kind of the weakness of it, right? I don't have any like general negates, except I've got this. I got Promenade, right? So I can negate the Raigeki, and we talked about this. We can negate, and then I can actually take the Hoot Cake in my graveyard, and I can just add that back to my hand. And I could do that to combo with it, but this is fine. So yeah, Raigeki negated, and we're saved. Now, Promenade, I do believe, is a once per turn. Yeah. So I can't use the second one. Now, since something was shuffled back into my hand or deck, we will get Salon. I'm not going to do Glass Souffle's effect. No, we're not going to do that. And then I can just, now I could set the Ticket, and I'll have Ticket for next turn. Okay, and they're just going to set and do that. All right, and then I'm not going to do that. Sure. So what we'll do, pretty much here, I can just kind of attack and go for game, but we can try to get into a Tiramisu, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go attack position. Well, I didn't mean to use effect. Shoot. All right, well, that's fine. I guess I got to do it. I meant to just turn you to attack position. Well, I guess I don't have to. Sure, we'll just make you unaffected. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just do that. No, we don't want to do that. So here's what I can do really quick. I can just put her on top of this one. And we'll just go attack position. We'll go in the same spot. Okay. And then what I can do is, I can't special summon her because I do have a monster in the graveyard. But what I could do is I could normal summon Hoot Cake. And I can use Hoot Cake's effect to get this out of the graveyard. So that's going to banish, and it's going to special summon a monster. So I could special summon. I could go into Angeli, right? There's a lot of things I could do there. So sure, we'll just go into Angeli. And then I could do Angeli to go into Petting Cessor. I could special the Petting Cessor directly from my hand, but sure, let's just do Angeli into Petting Cessor. That's fine. We'll do a Petting Cessor from the deck. That's the thing, like these decks, like there's so many things you can do, and I can do Petting Cessor to go back into that Pudding Cess that I shuffled back into my deck, so she should be back in here. So you can see why she's fine at 1. Like you reshuffle her and reuse her. We're going to special summon. Now we want Tiramisu. So we are going to do, hold on, what is going on here? I want to, hold on, special summon. I want Tiramisu, select. Sorry, my game was being weird. All right, and I want that, and I want that. Thank you. All right, we're going to go into that. So yeah, this is a nice like first little match here. Like you're kind of seeing a lot of what this deck can do. So now we got Tiramisu, and this is what you do on the offensive. Let me check my graveyard quick. Okay, you have to have a Madolche in the graveyard to activate her effect initially. So it's really important you have that. So I'm going to activate an effect. We're going to detach one, so we're going to detach this one. And then I'm going to shuffle these two into the deck. Actually, I could shuffle the trap into it. It does do spell and traps. So we'll shuffle those. We won't activate that. Oh, there is one thing with Promenade I forgot to tell you. And I can do Chateau to put it back in the hand. That's fine. And then I can just bounce both of theirs back to their deck. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. And then I just cleared their board, right? And so I can see. And I'm still comboing off, right? Like there's all kinds of shenanigans I can do here. I actually forgot to even activate this ticket. That ticket would have let me special summon when I shuffled. Like you can just see I'm like way overkill here. I can just normal something for fun. And you can see I've got all kinds of damage here. All kinds of ridiculous damage. So we'll just attack through. Obviously, I'm playing against like a PC that's very easy. So don't expect it to go this smooth. I would say the big weakness with this deck, especially in the pure version, it's very easy to disrupt, right? Your opponent ashes you on a search. They negate a summon. They imperm. I mean, the combo can die very easily, right? So even though this seems like insanely busted, in like very modern competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, it's still going to be solid, right? And once again, you combo it with maybe Kashtira or Vernisilf and like really build it up. It can do some cool things, right? So cool, we got that. Let's go ahead and let's do another match. And I'll do going second this time. We'll let them go first and see if I can OTK. But yeah, so the thing with Promenade I forgot to mention, that's the trap card. It does have one graveyard effect where you can banish it and then you can attach a card from, I think, your hand, deck, or graveyard to an Xyz's material. So that's another way you can reuse a pudding cess from the deck, reattach it to a chocolate Alamode, and kind of go crazy, right? This is actually this is good. So you guys can kind of see like what a really rough opening hand looks like. Like I just have Salon and Mess and Gelato. Like these are not good openers, right? Like I got Pudding Cess and Mess and Gelato, which are both cards you want to special from the deck. Like you don't want to open with them, but we'll activate the Salon. The nice thing is I could just throw a body out and then let's say Mess and Gelato gets destroyed by my opponent. It'll get shuffled in and trigger the Salon. I could activate Fenrir and put him out, but I'm going to keep this mostly Madolche. So let's just do this. Let's just summon this guy normally. Now, because I have an additional normal, I could like normal summon Pudding Cess, but I don't think I want to do that. So I'm just going to let him out there. I'm going to see if my opponent will just destroy it. And just, oh, I guess we'll attack, sure, since we got the free board. But let's just let my opponent destroy it and see if we can build this up into a better hand, right? Let's see what happens. But yeah, this was a pretty bad opening. All right, they're going to Lightning Storm me, huh? And they are going for all... Okay, we'll let them do it, sure. You can take my monster. Okay, and now it's going to shuffle itself back into the deck. That's the inherent ability of a Madolche. And then that's going to trigger my Salon. So now Salon is going to set one. I think from here, I think I'm going to take Ticket. The reason why I'm going to take Ticket is because if you have a really bad hand, you want Ticket to help you search out something better, right? Yep, you can play Foolish. That's fine. Yep, go ahead and do that. Do your thing. No, I don't want to play Gojin. I'll let you play. I'll let you play. All right, so they're going to battle. Sure, I'll just activate Gojin because it keeps asking me. It's annoying. Sure. All right, so they tap me for a little bit. We're going to take our turn. Let's see if we get something a little bit better going on here. All right, we got another Mess and Gelato, which isn't good. So what I'm going to do here is I just want to, yeah, it has to be destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard. We'll just normal summon this again. And then once again, I know I could play deeper here. I'm going to activate the Ticket. We want that active. So now if a Madolche is shuffled in, I can add one to my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and battle here. Now, if they destroy this Mess and Gelato, it's going to get shuffled in, but it's going to trigger Ticket and actually let me search for something I want, right? So hopefully they will destroy it this turn. And even though I had a bad hand, it will hopefully get me into something more productive. Because if this gets... Yeah, Raigeki, please. Thank you. Please Raigeki me. Thank you. Amazing. Shuffle back into the deck. Trigger Ticket. Now Ticket, you know, and we get Salon too. So they're both once per turn. So we can do them both on a shuffle in. So Salon, we'll take the field card now because now we're going to be aggressive. We got a big play coming next turn. And then Ticket, we just want to get Petting Cessor, man. Like that's all we need is her. That's it. Because we have no graveyard because they kept shuffling themselves back in. So now this is good. I can demo how you pop off with the pet. Sure, and then I draw into one. Great. Of course, the game is mocking me. So let's go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead. And I'm not going to activate the field yet. So we activate her effect. It's a free special summon. And then when she does that, now she's going to go off and we're going to do that same combo. So now we're going to go into... And she can summon from hand. So we can take Pudding Cess from hand, which is fine. And then we're going to go into our rank 4 play. So we're going to go into this one. So here, I mean, I could go into tiramisu and try to shuffle the trap, but I have an empty graveyard. So we still need glass souffle. So we're still going to open with glass souffle, even though we're on the offensive. And yeah, I think we can do an 8K OTK here, depending on what their trap is, of course. They only have 53. So we're going to activate this. We want to detach not pudding cess. And then we'll select herself. That's fine. Nope, we don't need to shuffle right now. I could have, but we're going to go into this. Yep, and we'll just put it right there. So this is chocolate a la mode going on top with the material in the graveyard. Okay. And then we're going to activate her effect to shuffle in. So we shuffle this. Now this is going to trigger a lot of stuff. So we got Ticket, then Salon, and then she can chain link 3 off of that because she can detach and summon. So we're going to detach that. So we got a ton of stuff coming. So like off of this, we started with nothing. Now watch, our field is about to explode here. So I mean, yeah, we want Angeli first, and then Salon. Salon is going to set we already have Ticket, right? Yeah, okay, so we'll just set the trap because we got everything else. And then Ticket. Now here's the thing, because I brought out Angeli and I already had the Xyz, Ticket now would add one to hand, but since I control a fairy, I can special it. So we will directly special, and we are going to go into Hoot Cake. Because you want Hoot Cake out before you start doing the Messengelatos. Now we can do Angeli into a Messengelato. Okay, and you see it's the same combo now. It just started a little bit differently. And then we can search a spell or trap. I mean, we're pretty much overloaded right now, so we can take an extra field if we want to, just to have it. Hoot Cake could shuffle something in, so we'll do Hoot Cake to get another special summon, so we'll shuffle that. And we will take another Messengelato. I mean, you can see how easily we can just search out all of these spell and traps. And you can see this is why some of them you only need to run one, because they're continuous. They're so easily searchable. Now we can activate our Chateau, which is going to shuffle in. It's going to allow her to detach and give me another summon. So let's detach that. Let's go and summon. We'll just bring out, we didn't really get to see Madeline, but she's just a summon and search, right? So you can see I have more than enough to kill right now. But just to finish the combo properly, what I would do is I would probably go into a tiramisu. So let's go into a tiramisu here. This is when you're playing more offensive, right? So we go into tiramisu. Okay. And now my graveyard has a monster, so I could do her effect. Now, let's say your graveyard didn't have a monster and you needed one. Well, then what you do is this is why you link. So we link off into this, and we can link these 2 bodies away. Okay. And those are going to go right there. You want to make sure they're in the spot pointing to the most monsters possible to give you a maximum protection. Okay, and then she can activate her effect. Now, she doesn't have to do 2, right? So, like, I could just shuffle 1 in. So I'm going to detach, and then I could shuffle 2 on mine and only 1 of theirs, or I can shuffle 1 of mine and 1 of theirs. So I'm going to do 2 of mine because I want stuff to hand, right? So I could do Hoot Cake and Pudding Cess. So I'm going to do Hoot Cake. I'm going to do Chateau Yes to put it to my hand. And then Pudding Cess, I'm going to not activate it and just let it go into the deck. And then I could return this. I mean, I could put her in the hand. It doesn't hurt, right? Because it's a card in hand. And Petting Cessor can still special her from hand. So I guess you might as well just take her in her hand. Either way works. But yeah, so there it is. And then what you would do, I still have more plays, right? But like this would go on top of this. So we do Chocolate a la mode on top of Tiramisu. And then there it is. That's your basic 8K OTK board right there. Now, because I've got Salon, I mean, I can still summon more stuff, right? I can still summon this, right? I can still summon this. I didn't use any normals yet, right? So I still had all that. And then we just battle and we got Mega Game here, right? So we'll just swing and we got it. So anyways, guys, that's the basic tutorial on how Madolches work. Let me know if you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I do have a Discord in the description if you want to join that. I do have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel in my Discord. So hopefully this helped you all out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.